Hello and welcome to the Ledger Lounge, an accounting and business advisory podcast brought to you by James Scott at Manchester. My name's Matthew Taylor.
And I'm Katie Allen. Welcome to the Ledger Lounge.
Right, welcome to the latest episode of the Ledger Lounge, or the Secret Ledger Lounge as it was called. We sort of kept this under our hat a little bit before releasing it to the office, and so the rumours started abounding. Anyway, the secret's out now.
I'd claim my name.
The secret's out now. I've been joined by Lauren from the office, Lauren Thompson, who's accountant with us at James Scott.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Glad to be a part of the Secret podcast.
Yes. How long have you been with us now?
2.5 years.
Wow. Oh, time flies when you're having fun, you see.
It feels like you've probably known me much longer.
It's gone really fast, that, actually.
Well,
2.5 years.
We sort of did, didn't we? Not quite directly.
Well,
but your mother worked for us
She did.
a long time ago.
She did. 20 years ago. Only for a short period.
Yes, a very short period. But
She remembered you, Matthew.
Oh, well, there you go. One scene never forgotten.
But not
Can't be
Brandon.
missed.
I think one of the things that we've noticed, especially your personality and the way you work, is that you're really, really keen on building client relationships.
I am. I love talking to people. All day long, my phone is constantly to my face. It's on speaker. I'm talking while I'm working, just getting to know them and sort of building more of a personal relationship, which I quite enjoy.
Yeah. I think it's really important because we all work better with people we get on with, don't we?
I think so,
finding out a little bit about them as an individual.
Yeah, what they're up to at weekend, what they're doing that night, where they're going on holiday, and really getting to grips with who they are and what their business does, and keeping in contact with them, I think is really important. Yeah,
I think so, and I think that's underpins what we're trying to do as at James Scott, which is improve client relations or customer service so that our clients get the best out of us as well.
And I think there's certainly in the past been a stigma of when your accountant rings, everybody goes, oh no.
Yeah, what do they want?
What do they want? It's got to be bad news. So if you're ringing them more often and it's not always bad news, I think that's the way to sort of build with them. And they don't, when they see my name pop up on the phone, they're not going, oh, what does Lauren want now? You know, because it's not always something where I'm telling them how much tax they've got to pay. We might be just catching up on what they're up to and what they need from us, or if they need anything. So I think that's really
sometimes
important.
even if there's anything that we can do better.
Yeah.
Like just having a conversation with them.
Yeah, just opening the door to saying, what are you up to? How can we do that better? Is there anything that you want from us?
Yeah.
Do you need any help?
And that's probably happened quite recently with you as well, hasn't it? Where we've had a client struggling with doing the bookkeeping themselves, and just by having the conversation with them, you're on board with helping them do that now, and they've probably had a big sigh of relief, haven't they?
They were struggling with the process of getting the correct information uploaded to Dext, and that was because the lady that was doing it, she was ready for retiring. She didn't really want to. She was just ready for retiring. So we sort of said, look, we can help with that. Let us take over. And now it runs really smoothly, which is great.
That's nice.
And the client
it's better for them, and it's better for you as well, doing the job, that all the information's there.
The client gets real-time information and it's right, which is more important than anything. It's not wrong.
I think it's not always a case of sort of dragging clients towards the digital age that we try and promote as accountants. It's working with them. It's sort of change management, isn't it? So having that relationship with them really does ease that change and makes things a lot smoother.
Yeah, and once you start getting into doing things like that, you build a lot of trust, I think, as well. And the client trusts that what you're saying, you're guiding them in the right direction and you can provide things for them that they might not have even thought of.
Yeah.
And have the client seen improvements have they found more time by letting us take the load off them so that they can then run their business better?
Yeah, so the director can then focus on expansion rather than me saying to him, is this supply statement right? Should we have paid that? He's not, because we've taken that function away and we're managing both sides. I'm not having to query anything of that with him anymore.
Yeah.
So he's then free to go and do
Run the
more of the
business.
in-depth business, the things that he should be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really good for him.
And I suppose doing that on a regular basis means he's got regular, up-to-date information. So he knows whether he's making money, how much he owes his suppliers,
Yeah.
how much his customers owe him all the time. So
Yeah.
he can keep right on top of the business, which ultimately results in better cash flow and better results, doesn't it?
It does. And actually just yesterday was talking to him about sort of how it's gone over the last month. And I've suggested to him that he comes in and sits with me for an hour, 2 hours, so that he can really understand Xero and how he can utilise it to see what we are doing and to show him how he can navigate through the software to see how the business is doing without him sort of going too in depth. But he doesn't want to do a Xero course. He just wants to come in and I'll show him, and he'll then be able to see how it's going each week or each month, or
He'll be able to run reports
Yeah.
then, won't he, without having to ring and ask you. He'll be able to do it himself.
Yeah, and I mean, that'll only be an hour or 2 hours, but that'll hopefully benefit him for the next years ahead.
Yeah.
Because he'll be able to just sort of go in, see it, and see the benefit of what we're actually doing.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
good.
I think that's really useful. And I think too often accounting software and the general ledger is just an area that they think, oh, it's just for doing my VAT return or just for the accountant at the year end, but they don't always think it's to get information out of. And the more regular, the more accurate information that comes out of it, the better you're going to be able to run your business.
Perhaps him seeing the results through Xero will then maybe enable him to think, right, well, that's going really well. Maybe we should invest more in that avenue rather than another.
Yeah.
Which is obviously always really helpful as well.
And it comes back to what we were talking about in the previous episode where we were talking about tax planning. If you know and you've got an idea of how much you're going to be making in the year, or you can, in 9 months, you've made so much, you can forecast the last 3 months. Can we do anything to invest in the business, invest some of the money that we've made it back into the business, maybe reduce our tax liabilities, but to make the business better going forward?
Like you say, be able to estimate how much his profits and tax will be without, well, hopefully once he's sat down and looked at it with me, hopefully he'll be able to, rather than phoning us up and saying, can you get me this, can you get me that, he'll just be able to go in and he'll know where to look and where to find the information.
Yeah.
Which is really good for him.
Yeah,
hopefully can get all my clients doing the same.
yeah, that'd be really good.
Yeah.
That'd be excellent. Boy, we can get the whole practice doing that. That'd be even better, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You're not going to DAS, are you, this year? Going to
No,
account
I went
tax?
to DAS last year.
Yeah.
DAS is the digital accountancy show, which is end of this month. No, beginning of next month, 1st of April, isn't it?
I really enjoyed it last year, but I do like to alternate.
I enjoyed it too much last year. I had a hangover.
Yes, you did. And I had to come to your room with some anti-sickness tablets, didn't I, in the morning?
Yes, people don't think that accountants have fun.
Yeah,
occasionally
no, we do.
accountants
We do have
can have fun.
Too much.
Sometimes.
Especially when you've not got to get up with a child.
Yes. So this year we're going to DAS on the
We're going down on the Monday, aren't we, the 31st.
So there's a speaker there on the Monday evening on AI. Again, every time we come on this podcast, we talk about AI, the future.
It's very exciting, but also very scary, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you just need to control it, understand it, and be in control of it. So that's going to be on the Monday afternoon.
Yeah.
So that'll be good.
Yeah, and then Tuesday's full schedule of, they have different things going on, don't they? Different areas in DAS where you can choose what you're more interested in to go and watch a speaker or
there's so
look
many
at a demo
people
of a software.
showcasing what they're doing, isn't there?
Yeah.
I mean, you can spend literally all day
Yeah.
going around just to the stands, can't you? And you still wouldn't have done half of them.
And you come home with about 15 water bottles and a couple of t-shirts.
No, I try
if you're
not
Brendan
to take
anyway.
the merch. Try not to take the merch, because after my first year at Accountex, I came home with about 6 water bottles, which are still in my cupboard. So this year I won't be taking anything.
Yeah. I think the vendors will be over the moon.
Yeah.
You can reduce the
I'm
marketing
sure
budget. I think good things come out of it, though. It's not just about merch, and it's not just
No.
about. I think quite often we go there and you'll see a new piece of software, a new app that you can use for clients.
Yeah.
I think it was there that we first met the guys from A2X.
Ah.
Yeah.
I think it was either there or ZeroCon.
I think it might have been ZeroCon.
Yeah. A2X is a link between the A is Amazon and the X is Zero, and that was the initial link between the two. And what it does, it takes any e-commerce business, it'll take the settlement out of Amazon, reconcile it, because I don't know if anybody's ever tried to do an Amazon reconciliation manually.
I have.
They are pretty much impossible to do, and will take hours, whereas the software does all the heavy lifting.
It does.
Since then, it's been expanded to
Shopify.
yes, Shopify and Etsy and eBay.
eBay, yeah.
So any e-commerce platform, or those major e-commerce platforms, it'll take those settlements and reconcile them.
I'm still waiting for TikTok Shop,
I think it's on
I
its
think
way.
it'll be I think it won't be long.
Yes,
because I'm still doing those manually at the minute.
Ooh.
yes.
But I've had both sides of Amazon. So I've worked at a couple of practices before. And before joining James Scott, I did used to have to post the Amazon settlements manually. And like you said, it was an absolute nightmare. And when I came to James Scott and you showed me A2X, I was like, my mind was blown. I was like, wow, this is amazing. And it really is.
Yeah.
Because once it's set up right, it's brilliant.
I think it's good as well that I've got a client who sells both zero rated and standard rated products. So if he's created a new product, a SKU in Amazon, my settlement won't post until I've like remapped that SKU, which is good, because at least you're not able to send a settlement over that could be wrong.
It's really
like prompting
good
you that, actually there's something wrong with it.
Really good at picking up errors and identifying something new.
Yeah.
It won't just send it, it'll prompt you to make it right before it goes, which is really good. Obviously, when you're doing things manually prior, it's just all there in the figures, and you've got to drill down into like thousands of figures to find, and filter down to like different countries, and just an absolute so much time spent doing it manually at a previous practice.
Yeah.
And then probably not even looking at the figures though as well. You've got a job to do, haven't you? Then you're just getting the figures into the system to get the end result of a VAT return done. Or
A2X enables you to once it is set up, setting up takes it some time, but once it's set up, it enables you to post those payouts and settlements, and they're correct.
Yeah.
And, it's one click of a button. And then you can then spend that time talking with your
through
clients
them,
or running through the figures, rather than trying to run through 1,000 lines to find all the payments to France. And
So it deals with exports as well.
yeah, particularly with Amazon, it highlights which element of the settlement is from a different country.
Yeah.
So as long as your mapping's correct, then it'll post it to the correct zero-rated VAT treatment.
Yep. Yeah.
Which is really good.
Excellent. And then I imagine you can report based on your sales in each country.
Yep. Yeah, because each one's a different marketplace for Amazon.
Yeah.
So you can look at each one as an individual or the full Amazon account as a whole, which again is really good, because you can see how you're doing in France versus Germany versus the UK or wherever that particular client sells.
I've got it on just recently actually, on one of our clients wanted to track how many Amazon refunds how many sales they refund on Amazon, eBay, quite a few other platforms, which is good because you can just change the map. Once you've created the nominal code in Zero, you just go, right, all my refunds are now going to 02 or whatever the code is that you've set up, which is good because he's now looking at the reports, knowing. It kind of indicates to him, right, okay, our refunds are really high on Amazon. What can we do to change that, rather than just looking at one quite large figure of whatever his sales are and not knowing what element of refunds are involved in that transaction.
And A2X makes that really easy.
I mean, he probably can see that on his actual Amazon account, but it's just easier to see 1 month's figure.
He'd probably think he's got a normal level of returns.
Yeah.
And then if anything
When he
suddenly
sees the
pops
numbers.
up and he gets a spike, he can then look into his Amazon account and see where the
Or even his
what the products
suppliers,
were that were being returned, because it might indicate a poor product.
Yeah.
So that might save him, especially if you're importing from China. Bring the stuff over, paying duty over, which will be difficult to return.
Waiting a couple of months as well for those products to actually arrive in the UK before you can sell them.
Yeah.
If they're rubbish products, that is.
Yeah. And once you get them, you've got them basically. Aren't you? You're not sending them back probably.
And one other link to the SKUs that you were talking about, Katie, is the cost of sales that you can transfer as well. So if you've got the price of your goods, you can do a cost of sales transfer. So you get a really, really accurate picture from your accounts of your trading activity in the month, which again, all automated, all posted.
Yeah. And if you're an online seller, you want to know which of the products that you're selling are performing the best.
Yeah. Because it's so competitive, that market.
And what margins you've got on each one.
And we're getting more and more e-commerce clients now,
definitely
all the time, aren't we?
Yeah. I think a lot of people have seen some of the blog posts that we put on our website, which is jamescott.com. Look in the knowledge section there. There's a lot of blogs on e-commerce, on A2X as well. I think we did a piece on A2X there, highlighting.
I should probably go in and read them more. I'm too busy on the phone.
Yeah. I think it was about 5 years ago we did that. So there's been a lot of changes since then. I think recently they've just introduced a new integration.
PayPal.
Yeah. Because that's another difficult statement to navigate, isn't it?
Oh,
so if
and again, thousands of lines of even
it's
if you're looking at a quarter
per sale, really, isn't it? In PayPal,
because you've got the money,
the sale, the fee, the
fees,
money
and then the
transfer.
money going out.
Yeah.
So again, a quarter's worth of sales can be 5,000 lines of an Excel, which is horrendous.
Yeah. That'd be really good. And I think it was only released this week, so maybe down at DAS we'll be able to catch up with A2X.
Get a demo on it.
We love a demo, don't we?
And
then, a demo.
Speak to the clients that got PayPal and get them introduced to it.
That will be great for one that I've just
manually
taken
done.
over. I have. I've just manually done a 4-year VAT return.
Wow.
For that client, so 4 years worth of PayPal. So that would have been
4
great.
4 years?
Yep.
Ooh.
That would have been great about 3 months ago, but never mind, A2X, we'll forgive you.
I think one of the biggest areas since Brexit came in was the introduction of, the multiple VAT rates that you had to charge your customers if you were selling to individuals, non-VAT registered people in the EU. And this became quite a challenge to a lot of businesses trying to negotiate. Well, it was a complete change. I think it was from July 21 that you had to charge Lithuanian VAT or Dutch VAT. And the thing about VAT in Europe is every country has a different rate.
Has its own rate, yeah.
So, and you either register in every EU country
which is
and file a VAT return in every EU country, or you can use what's called the one-stop shop. So that is something, again, that you can integrate with Shopify. There are platforms out there that will help file and deal with those taxes. I think the sale has to be less than €150. After that, you're into charging VAT at the appropriate rates. But again, A2X helps with that, doesn't it?
Yeah, because it sort of identifies the different countries and where the sales come from. And as long as you've set those mappings up correctly at the time that it's relevant, then it will just deal with it all for you and you don't have to do that, which is obviously a massive time-saving exercise for a start. And it's accurate.
Yeah.
Which is the most important part, isn't it? That it's actually right.
Yeah. You don't want to get involved in overseas VAT compliance.
No, you don't.
Especially if it's in French or in German. I mean, I suppose that's the beauty about being neighbours with Ireland, is that they speak English.
Yeah.
So we
correct,
can
yeah.
register a lot of the one-stop shop agents are based in Ireland that deal with the UK
Yeah.
purely because of the language.
Yeah.
I think Malta's another one. I think
Right.
where you've got probably a bit warmer in Malta as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
you-
think
if you
I'd
ever
rather
went
be
to
in
visit-
Malta.
For a work trip.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I vote Malta.
Malta rather than Dublin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my client needs to be registered in Malta. I'll go with them.
I'll go with them.
So yeah, that's one-stop shop. What other facilities are there in A2X that might be of?
Didn't we have a couple of clients that, because they didn't know what to do after Brexit, they stopped selling
Yes.
to different countries because it was like a bit of a minefield for them, and they just thought, well,
I'm not going to do
It's not
it now. It's
worth
not
it,
worth
yeah.
the hassle.
although they've probably gone back to selling to those countries now. But I think at first it was a minefield. Nobody really knew how they was going to go about it, did they?
No, I think
we went on a couple of courses as well.
we did. Yes, I think one of them was pre-Brexit, wasn't it? Because
Yeah.
we were dealing with German VAT.
Yeah.
Because we had clients who were looking to export to Germany, and then that all disappeared because, like I said, the one-stop shop kicks in for B2C
Probably
stuff.
a great idea that they had at
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
Save a lot of hassle.
Amazon loses product.
It does,
And
unfortunately, into the abyss.
to make a claim takes a lot of digging, a lot of tracing, all the paperwork. So I think we've got one client who's been using a service, hasn't they,
They
to
have,
try and
yeah.
reclaim some of this from
It's.
Amazon.
I think there's many of these companies that do this, but the particular one that they've used is called GetIda,
Uh-huh.
and they do all the work basically of going through and finding the stock that Amazon have lost or misplaced or damaged or whatever, and then they can recoup a claim back for that, and then they take a percentage. But it is a lot of work. These companies are sort of just starting up as these things are coming to light, and they basically are doing it for the client, and they take their fee, and the client gets an extra payout settlement for stock that he didn't even know he'd lost, or that he probably did know he'd lost, but it's sort of like it gets lost into the abyss of Amazon and Amazon warehouses.
Yep.
So it's only stock that's kept at Amazon warehouses.
So the FBA stuff, yeah? But
Yeah.
Fulfilled by Amazon.
Yeah, and great tool that they've took on board, because basically it's not free money, but it's money that he would have never seen again. if
And I
he
bet it's
hadn't
not. I bet it's not an insignificant
It's
amount
not.
either.
It's
is
not.
It?
It's, I think he's clawed back about £6,000 worth
Wow.
so far,
Yeah.
which is not to be sniffed at.
It isn't, and especially with, like we were talking about, margins in e-commerce being difficult to maintain. That's going to help, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Great for him. If there's any other e-commerce clients in the practice, I think we should be recommending it to them as well.
Yeah.
Anybody else that uses Amazon? He's the only one of mine that does use Amazon at the minute. Yeah, we need to get that out to the team probably. And
Yeah, because I bet a lot of people also think in e-commerce, well, that was lost 3 weeks ago. What I need to focus on going forward, operations going forward. They just kind of think, well, it is what it is, and swallow it.
I think, but I think there is a time limit on it, but I'm pretty sure that he's gone back a couple of years.
I think
Right.
there was initially, 18 months,
Right.
and I think Amazon have just reduced that to, I'm going to say
Because
6 months, but
everybody's
it probably
doing it.
isn't. But
Probably, probably because they've clocked on that people are doing this
Yeah.
now, and they're
Yeah.
actually getting reimbursed for their own stock, which is more than fair enough, I'd have thought, because it's not their fault that Amazon have lost it,
Yeah,
have they?
that's
Or
true.
it's fell off the back of a forklift and been damaged
Yeah.
or whatever. So, I mean, that's not their fault.
I can imagine it gets damaged a lot more than it gets lost. Have you seen the Amazon vans?
The Amazon vans in Oldham are not looking in the best shape.
I've
They're
read
not.
that one got stuck actually near you in Saddleworth, near Dovestones, like it had gone down wasn't a road, like an old country lane.
Yeah.
That was an unused country lane
Yeah.
now.
I think I saw that.
like a bridle
I
path
did
or
start to
something, and
see
just
that,
dumped
yeah.
it, just
And
left the
they
van
just
there.
left it there. Yeah. I mean, we sound like we're really hating on Amazon.
No,
but
no,
we're not hating
not
on
at all,
Amazon.
no.
We're not. But yeah, I mean, they do. They're a big company.
They're massive,
They're a
aren't they?
£1 billion company, aren't they? So these little trading people, with 5,000 here, they're not that they're not bothered, but that's nothing to them. But it's a lot to
It
a
is, yeah.
to our clients and the people who are running the businesses. You know, it's a big impact on them. It's not a big impact on Amazon. So for them to get that money back, I think is fantastic.
So these are all real life instances of our clients using technology to run their business, to make that business as efficient as possible. So if you were an e-commerce trader, whether we sort of majored on Amazon here, but I think the same relates to eBay, relates to
TikTok.
Etsy, TikTok. So if you're doing that, what would your advice be to somebody who was thinking about running, or even is running an e-commerce business and sitting down and trying to reconcile those Amazon statements?
Don't bother. I think, in all seriousness though, if you're just starting out, I think you need to set out on the right foot, because a lot of people will start trading on a business and they'll trade for 12 months and go, oh, I need an accountant now. If you start off from day one, we can put these things in place from day one. And from day one, it's been right, it's been correct, it's easy, it's seamless. There doesn't have to be a mad rush and a stress to at the end of the 12 months or the financial year that, oh God, I need to do this and all these are wrong and I've not reported this on my VAT return. And if you do it from day one, it's much easier.
Yeah.
And even if you're not just starting out and you're already set up and you're doing these, you know, your accountant's doing these manual, or even if you're doing it yourself, these manual settlements and posting your own invoices into Xero, and you want to sort of get involved with A2X, watch a couple of videos, look at some of the demos. They do, I think, online training courses. Come and see us. You know, we'll demo it for you and get you all straightened out. And you've then got more time to focus on your actual business and what you're selling rather than sitting trawling through an Amazon settlement, which, if anybody's ever done it, they know it's horrendous.
That's brilliant. So reach out to us. Have a read of our blogs on our website. And if you want to, there's a contact page on there to book a discovery call with us.
Yeah,
we
there'll
can chat
always
through
be
it.
somebody wanting there to talk to you.
Yes.
Lauren.
It might not be me. It probably will be me. It might not be me, but everybody else is equally as brilliant at James Scott, I think. So
Almost feels like we're being sponsored by A2X today, doesn't it?
Yeah,
And maybe we should send this to them and say, come and contribute to the poor hard-up accountants fund.
I do have an A2X T-shirt. Do you remember that? Have you still got yours? No, you didn't get the T-shirt.
No, I got the socks.
You got the socks.
I got the socks.
I got the T-shirt.
So hopefully, maybe they'll listen to this podcast at some point and be in touch and say,
I should have worn it under my James Scott hoodie, shouldn't I? Yeah, it's a fantastic tool. Brilliant. Would recommend it to anybody that's doing e-commerce.
I think we didn't have many manual A2X clients. Before we got A2X, I mean, like we probably only had two, maybe three. Yes, you probably did. Yeah. If we have, well, I used to work with Agatha, and I used to say, you can do that if you want.
Yeah, I didn't have an Agatha at the old place that I worked, so it was just sort of lumped on me and reconcile that, please. My VAT return's due in a week. So, you're going through and doing 3 months worth, which is horrendous because at James Scott we do things monthly or even weekly, which is great. So you're not having to go back and look at 3 months or 6 months or even 12 months.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think not quite done A2X to death, but I think covered it in some depth there. And which
I told you you'd never get me to stop talking.
Leah says we've got to give her a shout out today.
Oh yeah, shout out to Leah.
Yeah, she said
hi Leah.
And Max, he's coming on the next one. I've already told him. No, he doesn't want to, but I told him he has to.
I've been talking to a few potential guests for podcast for next episode, so got a couple of people lined up there.
Very
which
exciting.
will be good. So I suppose the next few weeks are going to be busy from our point of view. We've got quite a bit coming up.
Tax year and
as well as moving house.
Oh yeah. Well,
did you forget about that?
And moving the office.
Moving offices.
Yeah. Seems to be getting into full swing this week. I think the office seems to be disappearing around us.
Well, I walked in today and there was things being taken off the wall, and I thought, oh no,
it's really happening. Yeah,
yeah, we're leaving here. The new offices are brilliant, though. I think they're going to look lovely.
They will. They will look fantastic. I'm going to pop up there afterwards. I think the painter's nearly finised up there, so that'll be good.
Nice.
We're going to have a look. Helen was saying, we've got 19 days before we move. And I say, yeah, but 6 of those are weekends.
So you're going to be working every weekend for Helen now?
I think so, yes.
Roles reversed.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, I think there's that. And then, obviously, we've got the events coming up. So, looking forward to the next few months. And
account tax for me this time.
Yeah. When's that? Middle of May?
Middle of May. Lots of legislation updates.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
I think that's it for this week.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure.
Good. Am I
See you
invited
tomorrow.
back?
Yeah, you'll find out.
They'll make the cut.
The Ledger Lounge is brought to you by James Scott Accounting and is hosted by Matthew Taylor, Katie Allen and Lauren Thompson. For more information, visit jamesscott.com. This podcast is recorded at and produced by KUPOD Productions, audio by Matt Dean and video by Eddie Corteen. For more info, visit kupod.co.uk.